take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, May 1st, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 118, Font versus Vera recap. After that, we jump to some MMA news and then UFC 274 preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin? That was freaked me the
I know. I was like, what's going on?
I was like, who's yelling outside? Oh my God.
Someone's fist fighting out there. Yeah, as always, guys, we begin with our Patreon. $5 a month gives you so much exclusive content. Go to our Patreon and help us out there. We do vlogs, episodes, second service, audio-only podcast, call-in shows, video podcasts as well. There's a lot of content over there, guys. If you want to check that out, it's only $5 a month to get all of that. So there's a lot of value there. You also get to bet alongside of us in the Church Coin Championship. If you join the upper tier, $10 a month gets you into that. You bet alongside of us for that beautiful belt sitting in front of Mason right now. Also, guys, that $10 a month also gives you a 10% discount on church merch on our Teespring store. Get yourself a t-shirt, a face mask, a mug, a water bottle, a whole bunch of different merch. We're constantly updating it. There's a lot of designs over there. Go check all that stuff out. And if you want an even bigger discount on the merch, guys, we have one more Patreon tier. $20 a month gives you a $15 or a 15% discount on that merch. All of that money goes right back into the show, guys. We're trying to upgrade the audio here very soon. We're very excited for the future and all of that as well. Guys, go follow us on our Instagram, okay? That's the one we stay up to date the most on. So go to our Instagram, go to our Twitter, go to our Facebook. We post all our clips on Facebook as well. And also, a cool thing about our Facebook, we live stream all of our episodes there as well. We are live right now on Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, and Facebook. So feel free to drop all of our likes and share the videos on all your social media accounts, guys. It helps us out a lot. Also, go to our Twitch, guys. Subscribe over there. Follow over there. That is much better quality than YouTube. It is built for live streaming from the ground up. And we see all the chats as well, guys. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on all the platforms. It helps us out so much. So, obviously, guys, if I mentioned I'm going to Galaxy's Edge this weekend?
Yeah, I think you have once or twice or 500 times.
I love making that joke.
This guy, you know, I'm happy for you, but I would be a liar to say that I'm not a little jelly. You know, my whole life I've always just wanted to go to Galaxy's Edge. Never had the opportunity. But you told me you were going to send me pictures, so you better. Mm-hmm. You better send me pictures.
I'm going to bring the lightsabers back.
And the lightsabers. Tabor's going to bring some lightsabers here. You know me. I'm going to freak out about that. That'll be pretty cool to see.
And the droids as well. I'm going to bring
and the droids. So, bring it all.
We're thinking about having like a fifth camera for a droid cam, and it'll be like in my R5 going. Then we'll maybe throw some fucking subtitles down. It's like, Jake Collier fucking sucks. He definitely didn't win that fight. Like, no, you're wrong, R5.
You're wrong, R5, you idiot. Did you not watch that fight? Apparently the judges didn't. The judges did not watch that fight.
I cannot wait to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, dude. I'm really excited for all of that. Obviously, I will not be here this next weekend for UFC 274 and that preview. We'll preview that tonight, but I won't be here for that fight companion.
So, you guys, let's just be real about why Tabor just so happens to never show up during the pay-per-view events. And it's for one simple reason. Not only have I became the Church Coin champ, but I will defend this coming weekend. And every single time that I am crowned the champ, the challenger just isn't here. He isn't here to wrap that strap around me.
I can't handle the embarrassment, dude.
Yeah, that's what it is, guys. Yeah, it's crazy, Tabor. 2 pay-per-views back-to-back you will be missing. But you know,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. But, you know, like we did a fight companion last night, guys. That was a whole lot of fun. Shout out to Steely and Cole and also Tyler and why am I forgetting his name? It's Logan.
There we go.
Your brother? Yes. Am I fucking retarded?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Just a tad bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a tad bit. But you know what? Shout out to those guys. We had a lot of fun doing the fight companion last night. It was a military church of MMA there.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a lot of fun.
The Patreon afterwards, you guys were talking about war and stuff for an hour. I was just sitting there listening. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shout out to them. Thank you so much for coming on last night. And also, guys, like I said, $5 a month gets you into the Patreon. You can listen to that Patreon exclusive Second Service podcast we did last night. That was a lot of fun to do. So shout out to everyone that showed up there. Shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers. And also, shout out to Ymir Reviews, already in the chat. Our boy Jimmy, cannot wait to see you. Oh, wait, I won't be here next weekend. Cannot wait to see you on camera at least next weekend. He will be on the Fight Companion, guys. So we're very excited for that. But as always, Mason, that's enough shilling. Let's start at the top with a recap show.
Start at the top, recap show. So
obviously, Marlon Vera got the victory last night over Rob Font. It was a very highly contested matchup. Before we even get into like future matchups, stuff like that, like not only was this a fantastic fight, like it was great. It was super entertaining from start to finish. But like, did you agree with the judges? Because a lot of us thought Rob Font won that fight.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a fight, right? And like when you look at Rob Font, you look at how many knockdowns Chito Vera had against Rob Font. Yeah, Rob was throwing more strikes. He landed more significant strikes. But at the end of the day, like if you're watching a fight and you see a guy getting knocked down 3 separate occasions, almost getting finished in 3 of those rounds, this is one of those scenarios where like I'm definitely not upset with the judge's scorecard. This is completely different than the co-main of this fight night, where it's like I don't know what the judges were watching in that fight. However, this fight, I'm not mad at it. You know, I go back and forth.
Yeah, neither.
Rob was landing more strikes, but again, Chito was the guy almost finishing the fight 3 of the 5 rounds. So the fact that all 3 judges had it. For Chito, one judge had it 4-1. I don't know
what that came from, because I disagree with the 4-1. But after like last night, I thought it was 3-2 easy Rob Font. I thought he won the first, the third, the fifth. But going back and rewatching that, the second round, not only did last night, I almost thought Rob Font won that round last night. Watching it back today, I think that was a Chito Vera round because, you know, Rob Font was landing strikes. But Chito's defense was so elite in that fight. I don't even know how many of those strikes that looked like they landed actually landed. Yeah. A lot of those strikes, I think, were blocked. And you could tell just by the face of Chito Vera. Well, he was not wearing damage.
Yeah, that's a really great point to make, too. I mean, if as many strikes as Rob Font threw, if we thought that they were landing, it did not appear to look that way on Chito Vera's face, man. So at the end of the day, like Chito won that fight, and I'm fine with it. I'm not upset with the judge's scorecard. It was a really close fight, but at the end of the day, like Chito was the guy almost finishing the fight, 3 of the 5 rounds. That's why 48-47 made sense for me.
Yeah, two was really close because it was like really tightly contested. Both men were landing a lot. I was edging it to Font, but then you have the big drop. You have the big knockdown at the end of the round with Chito. So, I mean, that could sway a lot of judges. So I kind of understand why they gave Chito that round. I think it was like if Chito won that fight, it's 2-3-4.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that. That's kind of why he took round 5 off. So I definitely thought Font won 1 and 5. It's 2 that's really the question. Ant W's down in the chat right now. He says he thought Font won 1-2-5. So it's interesting, man. A lot of people thought Rob Font won, but when you look at the faces and the damage Rob Font was wearing on his face, it almost makes sense why the judges were giving it to Chito. Even though, yes, he was statistically up on those rounds of significant strikes, he was throwing a lot more than Chito.
Yeah.
But Chito was way more accurate. Chito was actually landing most of the shots he was throwing. I think he had a percentage at the end of the fight. It was like over 50% or over 54% or something like that, while Rob Font was in like the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I really don't have too much to say negative on the side of Chito Vera. I mean, he looked really good in this fight, and Rob Font, again, was throwing a lot of strikes, but it is what it is. Like, I'm fine with it. The biggest question I have now is, like, what do we do, one, with Rob Font, and what do we do with Chito Vera? I mean, Chito Vera was number 8 before this fight. Rob Font sitting in the top 5 of this bantamweight division. Now with the defeat of Rob Font, Chito Vera's got to slide into this top 5. He's got to be in the mix now.
People up on Twitter were talking about wanting to throw Chito against Sanhagen. I thought that wouldn't be a bad matchup.
That's
because
a great
it was
matchup.
that TJ or Jose, and I was like, just do the Sanhagen fight. That makes sense to me.
I think what they're going to do with this bantamweight division, it makes more sense, in my opinion, to do like TJ Aldo for a number 1 contender.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but here's the thing. On the side of who Aljamain Sterling takes on next, and this does play a factor because the main event here was a bantamweight fight with huge implications. Now Chito sneaking his way into the top 5. I would like to see, just because he is a legend of the sport, And I actually think he's got a really good shot against Aljamain Sterling. I'd actually like to see Jose Aldo just get the immediate shot and then maybe do like a Corey Sandhagen, Rob Font, or excuse me, Corey Sandhagen, Cheeto Vera.
And a
I would
Jan
absolutely
TJ?
love. And a Jan TJ, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I want to see.
That tickles
But-
my pickle.
And just because, like, I love Jose Aldo, I love to see him get one more crack at the belt. And I think stylistically, he would match up really well against Aljamain Sterling. Because Aljamain kind of fades towards those latter rounds. And Jose Aldo, we saw it against Petr Yan, how in the fourth and fifth round, it just was awful for Jose. He was just gassed.
I think if Jose, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no worries.
I think if Jose mixes in those leg kicks early on and stops Aljamain from the takedowns and wears out his legs and makes him want to falter off during the later rounds, which he, from kind of history he does, the fourth and fifth round, he tends to waver a little bit. I think Jose's got a real chance of winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with that take is I think just Jose just doesn't throw the leg kicks nearly as much as he used to. I mean, he used to build his foundation off of those leg kicks.
Last fight he did. We were talking about why he wasn't ever throwing them anymore, and then he did. So if he does that, he continues that streak. I believe he's got a pretty good shot.
Yeah, it's a great
I
point.
feel like that's the only, not the only, but the best strategy he has to beat Aljo.
That's why it looked so good against Rob Font. I mean, he was mixing in those leg kicks at will. He won that fight via unanimous decision in a 5-round main event. So I like that matchup a lot. And I know Aljamain Sterling and Jose Aldo have been going back and forth. Because, look, considering what TJ Dillashaw did with the EPOs and all that, yes, does TJ probably deserve a title shot? Yeah. I mean, he is. I mean, come on.
After
he's
defeating
probably,
Corey Sandhagen, yeah, probably.
Right. He's probably the best bantamweight.
Which was
right
a
now.
close fight, to be fair.
Very close
However-
fight. I thought
Razor
Corey
fight.
won it the first
So
time
did
I watched.
But however, because of what he did, like, I'm kind of like, well, whatever. You can have one more fight, and you can fight a guy like Petr Yan. And if you can get past Petr Yan, then yeah, he's got to be the next guy in line, unquestionably.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. As they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. A lot of people say that. But, Corey Sandhagen coming off that loss, fighting a guy like Cheeto Vera would make for a great matchup stylistically. Those guys are just going to be throwing hands back and forth. That would be a lot of fun. I really do love that matchup. But what do we do now? I think we've kind of decided, at least what we would like to see in the top
Cheeto
five
Sandhagen,
here.
why not?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Cheeto Sandhagen, Jose, and Aljamain, and then Petr Yan, TJ Dillashaw for the number one contender outside of that. But what happens now with Rob Font? Dominic Cruz has been talking a lot about how he wants to win this bantamweight belt back again, and you could, after Rob Font taking an L here, that's 2 straight. You could give him a guy like Dominic Cruz, who's sitting number 7 right now. But who I really feel bad for in this bantamweight division?
Merab.
And that's Merab Dvalishvili.
Because he needs a fight. Like, he's just out.
He's completely out.
He's completely out. So, I mean, you could do Merab Cheeto. You could do Merab Sandhagen. You could do Merab Yan. You could do Merab. Merab slots into this top 5 immediately, in my opinion.
Oh,
too.
for sure.
So, I mean, he's just kind of being left on the outskirts here.
But he's kind of being left on the outskirts because, unfortunately, he refuses to take on his training partner and best friend, Aljamain Sterling. And I respect that. I totally understand. Like, they're best friends. You're not going to fight your best friend for the belt. And like that, I can respect. But at the same time, it's like, well, now where does Merab fit into this now that his friend did, quote unquote, retain the belt?
I like that take. We should do Rob Dashvili or even Cruz Dashvili, and then Marlon Sandhagen, Jose Aljamain, and then TJ Yan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something around that.
I think that's probably how it's going to have to shake
Or if
out.
Dominic wants to fight Font or something like that.
I think Dominic should fight someone like Song Yadong. Or even Rob Font could take on Song Yadong, because that's a fucking banger,
I might be wrong on this, but didn't Dominic Cruz take on Song Yadong like 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh, I don't know. Look that up.
I might be wrong on that, but I thought he did. Maybe not. No. It was.
I didn't think so. I know it
Cruz.
was Munoz.
Yeah.
And all that. But I think if Dominic Cruz wants to fight, Rob Font's a great option for him, and that's a very winnable fight for both men, in my opinion, because Dominic has studied Rob Font a lot. He literally called the fight last night. So, but then you got Song Yadong out there, you got Ricky Simone, you got Sugar Sean O'Malley. Like, should Rob Font be fighting down that low? Like, because he did just lose to number 8 in the world in Marlon
he
Vera,
lost to Jose Aldo,
and he lost to Jose Aldo. So he's on a 2-fight skid. Like, do we
3.
do Rob Font, Sugar Sean O'Malley, or something like that? I think that'd be a great fight.
Look, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Sean's got to fight Ricky.
I respect what Sugar Sean
that'd
is
be a good fight,
doing.
too.
I understand, but dude, he's not taking anyone in the top 10. There's no way. I just
A
don't
guy coming
see
off
him.
2 losses, though?
I know, but it's Sugar Sean. Like, he'll probably take an unranked guy, even though he's number 13 in the world. Like, it's just a reality. Like, the guy does not want to fast track his way to top 10, top 5 competition, which I can respect. He's still very young, still developing his skills, but
him and Patty the Batty are almost saying the same things. Patty says he's not going to fight a ranked guy until he gets a new contract, essentially.
Right. Which, hey, it is what it is, man. I mean, to some respects, I respect it, but yeah, I don't really know. But I got to tell you right now, this bantamweight division is just stacked. The top 15, man. I mean, anyone can get it. Anyone. Yeah. Pedro Munoz at 9, Song Yadong at 9 as well, sharing the number 9 there. Marlon Cheeto Vera was 8, just beat number 5. I mean, god dang, dude, this division's great.
Yeah, Cruz. So shout out to Joseph Blotti in the chats. I'm not making an excuse for Font, but he did have an injury. That is why he missed weight. Gary, good take. Cruz said in an interview he wants someone in the top 5. I don't know.
Cruz ain't getting someone in the top 5.
I don't know. 5. I mean, who was his last win? Pedro Munoz, correct?
Yeah, but to be fair, I feel like we should be like we make jokes, but people tend to forget Dominic Cruz is that motherfucker. Like, he's 24-3, and he's won his last 2 fights. Like,
oh, no. I have complete and utter respect for Dominic Cruz. I mean, I really do. There's a reason why he's a former champion of the world. Like, Dominic Cruz is an elite fighter. But it's like, with how stacked this bantamweight division is and how active everyone in this division is, it's hard for me to sit there and be like, okay, Dominic Cruz gets,
I feel like
4 or 5.
We would have a better argument. We would have a better argument if he wasn't inactive for 4 years and he's back and he has won his last 2. So I feel like you give him a top 5 fight. Yeah, and in all fairness, you are right. Like, he did have 2 fights in 2021, so he is active. He is. He is. He beat Casey Kenny and then Pedro Munoz.
Yeah. Do Cruz Sandhagen or Marab Sandhagen or fucking Vera Sandhagen? Any of those sign me the fuck up, honestly. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm very excited to see what happens. I think realistically what'll happen is Marab will probably fight someone ranked lower than him right now. And then, Dominic Cruz will probably get that bump up to maybe a Rob Font. I don't know. I like that matchup though. Dominic Cruz, Rob Font. I know Rob Font's lost 2 straight, but I like that matchup stylistically. That's fun. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Shout out to both these men for putting on an absolutely entertaining main event. Do you want to get into church coin picks? Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I put 3,500 church coin on Rob Font. I was betting on that jab and that boxing, and he had fantastic hands last night. It's just the defense of Marlon Vera was just completely elite, and he was blocking a lot of those shots and then landing his own. The counters were crisp and clean. So I did lose that one. That was a huge, massive loss for me there, but at 3,500 church coin. And my prop bet was Font UD, so I lost another 500 on top of that. Yeah, so I went with the late pick here. I switched it up to Cheeto Vera. There was something about it that I liked. Obviously, the fact that Rob Font did not make weight, that's always a bad sign. So I put 2,000 church coin on Marlon Vera. Got a return of 2,400 church coin. My prop was a Font KO, TKO. Kind of hedging my bet a little bit there for 200 church coin and lost that. All right, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. Andre Arlovski and Jake Collier. No disrespect to either of these men, but yeah, I don't know what the fuck the judges were watching there. Yeah, and I do want to reiterate what you said. No disrespect to either one of these fighters. It was a really good fight. It was a great fight. They were heavyweights. The output between these two was really impressive. I mean, we gotta say Andre is 43, 44 years old, and he's still got the cardio. Jake Collier throwing as many strikes as he was, looking as good as he was, getting that takedown in the 3rd round. Like, the fight was great. So the fart button has nothing to do with the fight. What it has to do with is the judge's scorecard. What in the hell, and I'm sorry, I put 2,500 church coin on Andre Arlovski. I love him. I'm ecstatic that he broke the UFC record. I just didn't like the outcome of this fight because, as you and I both talked about, I thought Jake won that fight at least 29-28. Yeah, I mean, you can give Andre the second. Yeah. The second and third were pretty close, but Collier was landing huge shots at the end of the 3rd, and then he even got the takedown at the end. It's 1-3 Collier. Easy. Yeah. I don't know what the judges are watching. I think one judge had it all 3 rounds Andre or something like that. All 3 rounds Andre. Yeah. That's fucking let me make sure. No, okay. So, yeah, 30-27. Yeah, it was 30-27. What? Yeah. No, so I'm sorry. That judge actually had a 30-27 Collier. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because you can almost make that argument that Collier won all 3. So that judge was not smoking crack. but apparently the other two were. I just didn't see Andre winning the fight. I don't know how that was the outcome. It was a split decision, which, yeah, it's a close fight, so splits warranted. But I mean, I didn't see it. I have no idea what they saw. Like, what was it? Andre was getting hit with massive shots. He was on his heels most of that fight, and then especially the first round. Like, all three judges must have given the first to Collier. Like, that's the easiest one to judge, in my opinion. Collier had it pushed up against the fence. He was going for takedown attempts, and he was landing big shots. He was showing great cardio for how big he is. They said he was a former middleweight champion. Isn't that crazy?
That is wild. Yeah. That is absolutely insane.
Absolutely crazy. But, it's almost disrespectful to the fans, in my opinion, or disrespectful to the fighters at least, because, that could have set Jake Collier back a lot.
Yeah.
When you let these stupid fucking judges, and then Dana's always coming in with the take, well, that's why you don't leave it up to the judges. Like, dude, there's got to be something we could fucking do. Like, because these guys are just incompetent, and they can literally ruin a man's career.
He got Angela Hill.
Yeah,
he got Angela Hill for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But, that's what sucks about mixed martial arts is, this isn't a referee in football making a bad penalty call where it might affect one game, but you have 17 games in a season to make ends meet. You're talking about a fighter who maybe fights 2 or 3 times, and one loss can set you back 2 years, up to 2 years in mixed martial arts. There has to be some sort of accountability. We talk about it all the time with these judges. I just don't understand why there is not. And these judges should have to answer. The same way you get a post-fight conference, that if a judge makes a terrible call, you have to justify that to the public. I hate how they can just hide behind these walls and never have to talk to the media or anything. Why is it like Herb Dean, if he makes a bad call, he's got to publicly put something out on Twitter or whatever? But where are these judges who need to be held accountable for just really bad decision making? Really bad judging. But I don't think we'll ever get it. I mean, that's something we bring up all the time when there's bad calls, but it is what it is. It's frustrating.
It's fucking unfortunate, man.
It is.
It's just unfortunate because, like you said, it does set him back 2 years. So, I mean, as much as I love Andre Arlovski, he lost that fight.
Yeah.
He did lose that fight.
No, he definitely did.
So, it's unfortunate. Shout out to both of these men because it was an extremely entertaining fight, and I really did enjoy it from start to finish. But that shouldn't be what we start off with. We should always be like, I love this fight. Both of these men put their hearts out on their sleeve. They gave us everything for 15 minutes straight. But instead, we're sitting here talking about how shitty the judging is. Yeah. It's fucking unfortunate, bro.
It is. And, obviously it's not either fighter's fault. It's not Andre's fault. We're not mad at or upset with Andre. He went out there and tried his best. And according to 2 judges, he won the fight. Collier had a great performance as well. It was a really fun fight, a really good heavyweight co-main. And, I was happy as a fan watching that fight. It's just the outcome is a little frustrating.
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous.
I can only imagine how Jake's feeling right now.
Yeah, probably pissed.
Oh, I would be too.
Especially
did you see him collapse to his knees when they read the judge's scorecard?
I couldn't believe it.
He was like, hold on, 30-27. One judge gave me all 3 rounds, and then the other 2 gave 2 out of 3? Can you imagine that as a fighter, putting everything out on the line?
Can you guess which judge?
Sal. It's fucking Sal. It had to be Sal.
It's Sal.
Of course it's Sal. This man.
Who was the other judge that gave him Andre? Who's
the other judge? The other judge, Douglas Crosby, gave Andre round 2 and 3.
What?
Yeah, I don't
know. 2 you can make an argument for. I'll give him 2.
So
3, no.
Mike Bell scored 30-27 for Collier. Douglas Crosby scored it 29-28 for Arlovski, which he gave him rounds 2 and 3, which I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and then Sal's just,
Sal's always on.
Sal's like 30-27 Andre.
Sal is just a goofy
he's
goober.
He's a goofball, man.
Sal's
he's a goofball.
Goofy goober, and he said
he didn't give Andre the first, did he?
He gave Andre round 2 and 3 as well, like Douglas. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking, but at the end of round 3, there is no way I would give that to Arlovski when he got taken down, and Jake should have secured the win, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's crazy. It's just crazy.
Sal's just got to He's got to go.
He's gotta
go,
It's
dude.
too bad of a track record.
I know. It's like me laughing to hide my just
laugh at
pure
his
frustration.
pain,
Yeah. God, that guy.
What a joke. So this is for Sal. It's what you deserve, my guy. But shout out to both of these, man. They did leave their hearts out there on this
Yeah,
fight,
they did.
you know, and it was very entertaining. So hopefully they do something. Like, I hope Dana at least watches this fight back and goes, no, that's bullshit. Maybe he throws a bone to Jake Collier because he missed out on that win bonus. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, just it is what it is. Let's get into church coin picks.
Oh, one thing about the
go
main
ahead.
event, real quick, that I want to bring up. Did you know Cheeto got 100K because Rob Font missed weight?
Really?
And so
Yeah.
the bonus, yeah, because it was
Sweet.
fight of the night or something. So he got 100K.
Good for
So
him.
good for him.
Yeah, he
Shout out
needs
to
it.
Cheeto.
Yeah, he was real
We should
emotional.
just give
after
him a
that victory.
milli.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
It's not my money.
He deserves it. Yeah, so let's get into church coin picks. I had 500 church coin on Collier. I literally thought that I was locked. That I was locked in there, and I was like, I'm going to make some fucking money. Because Collier was a big underdog, too, I believe.
No, he was a plus 115.
Oh, that's not
To
bad.
minus
That's not bad
135.
then. It still would have been fucking an extra 500
Yeah,
church coins.
it would have been.
Yeah, that's a bullshit. I could have used those for this week, too, because I lost a lot of church coin on this card here.
Yeah.
So I did lose that 500 church coin betting on Collier there.
Luckily for me,
I know.
I
That's
put
such bullshit.
2,500 church coin on Andre Arlovski, and I won it. You know what? I'm not going to take it with pride and honor, but I will take it nonetheless because, that's who I bet for. So
I gave you a nice return of 1850.
yes, it did. Yeah, that was nice. We got to move on to this next fight, though. Andre Feely versus Joe Anderson Burrito.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, what a 3-round war. One of the Burrito caught Andre Feely.
Massive overhand right.
Massive, dude. Just caught him and just dropped him, and it is what it is. That's all she wrote. Burrito just barraged him, and Philly could not recover.
I was actually shocked by the line because Burrito was like a plus 240
Plus
or something like that.
Yeah,
And
to minus 300.
That was insane in my opinion.
Yeah.
I did not see. I liked Andre Touchafili a lot. I thought it was going to be way more competitive in a war. That's what I was expecting coming into this fight. And then for Burrito just to land the overhand right from hell to fucking flatline Feely and then just going with the ground and pound for the finish. Early stoppage, by the way. No, I'm just joking. I was like, let him die in there. No, it was a great stoppage, and Feely was absolutely done. But the line was weird, and I knew I had to put money on Burrito, so I did put money on Burrito. I put 500 church coin on him, gave me a return of 1,200. Like, what do we do with this guy? I think he's ready for a top 15 matchup.
Really?
Maybe one more.
Whoa.
Maybe
James.
one more, but I think he's ready, dude. I mean, he is going to slot right into this 145-pound division, in my opinion. I wouldn't be mad if they made Burrito Shane Burgos. Would you? Or Burrito Edson Barboza coming off of that Bryce Mitchell loss? Something like that?
I don't know, man. I think it's a little too soon. This is only his second fight in the UFC, and he did lose his last fight. He lost to Bill Algeo. So
Wait,
I mean,
I thought he had more fights. Are you sure he's only had 2?
yeah, dude, he's only had 2.
I thought he had
I think
more.
he's if I'm not mistaken, he's a contender guy. But
Interesting. I thought he had more fights.
Yeah. So he's 13-3, but he did lose to Bill Algeo. But yeah, he was Dana White's Contender Series in 2021. He did get that win over Diego Lopez to join the UFC. Lost to Bill Algeo, but then beat Andre Feely. Andre Feely is the real deal, though. And I think if Andre would have won that fight, maybe you give him a top 15. But it did not work out. He just got caught. It is what it is.
Okay, I must have been thinking about someone else because I swore I thought Burrito was winning more fights.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so then, just anybody unranked. Why not? Let's just do it that way. So church coin picks. I had 500 on Burrito, gave me a return of 1,200.
Yeah, I put 900 on Andre Feely and lost that. So
All right, let's move on to the next fight. We had Jared Flash Gordon versus Grant Dawson. Ended in a 3rd-round rear naked choke submission for Grant Dawson.
Yeah.
This was a good fight.
yeah, it was.
It was really competitive back and forth.
It was a really competitive fight. At one point, I thought Jared Gordon was going to finish the fight. But this was the first time in Jared Gordon's career that he was submitted. So shout out to Grant Dawson, now 18-1-1 in his professional career. That's a really, really impressive resume. I mean, 18-1 is no easy task.
Especially in this lightweight division.
Right.
Yeah, a bunch of killers everywhere. So very excited for his future. Like, we don't want to give him a top 15 guy, right?
No, I would say 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So let's go into church coin picks. I had 500 church coin on Dawson. That gave me a return of 333 for the slight favor there.
Yeah, I put 120, or excuse me, I put 100 on Dawson and got a return of 120 church coin.
Was he an underdog?
No, you might have screwed up that math.
I might have screwed up the math
because you did the math this time. But
maybe I should have got more. Maybe I should have got more
I'm
church
just
coin back.
clarifying. I was not cheating. He did that. No,
We'll go
he was
back
a
and fix
minus.
that.
He was a minus 150.
Oh,
Grant
he was?
Dawson was, yes. He was a
Oh,
minus
okay. So I
150.
fucked your numbers up then.
Yeah.
We'll
So
fix that
we'll
later
fix
because
that
I
afterwards.
need every
Jeez,
advantage
some
coming up to
fuckery.
this.
Yeah.
I need every advantage coming up to this. I
swear
lost
to
like
God,
4,000
dude,
church coin.
He did it, dude. It really wasn't me.
Yeah, that was me. My bad.
I should just do it from now on so there's no bias.
Yeah.
Weird.
Sure.
There's no bias over
there's
here,
no
even
bias,
though I'm
bro.
like handsome and the best.
You ain't cheating, like I said.
So moving on, Darren Elkins versus Tristan Connolly here.
Another fantastic 3-round fight.
Another great fight, but again, Darren Elkins absolutely dominated here. 30-27 on all three judges' scorecards. The damage did not take much damage in this fight. Pretty dominant performance.
Man,
Tabor,
he
what do
really
you
showed
think?
out on the ground, too. He
Yeah,
was
he did.
completely dominant there on the ground, implementing a lot of jiu-jitsu. Almost had a rear naked choke finish at some point. Got saved by the bell there, did Connolly. So, it was super interesting to watch. I like Darren Elkins a lot. It's hard to get that man out of there, and especially when you go down to the ground, that's his bread and butter, baby. As much as he likes to strike on the feet and get hit with shots, man, he's even better on the ground. So, if this is the Darren Elkins coming out from now on, just implementing that jiu-jitsu, not taking damage, I think I could see Darren Elkins making a run. Like, is he going to make a championship level run? Probably not. But he could definitely make some moves here at 145 pounds.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem with his career is like as his nickname in the giant tattoo on his chest says, the damage. The problem with him is he has historically taken a lot of damage in his UFC career.
Yeah.
And he's had a long career already. He's 37 years old. In his career over the last 3 years has been a win one, lose one. He had that fight against Cub Swanson where he got KO'd, and it's just really unfortunate, but hopefully he can put together a couple wins, maybe slide into that top 15. But this is a really tough division to get into the top 15. This featherweight division is no joke, but, he'll probably get one or two more unranked matchups. And then if he can get past that, maybe make a run late in his career. But he's already 37 years old, so I don't know if I see that.
Yeah, it is what it is there. I put 250 church coin on Tristan Connolly there and did not get a return. Lost
I put 500 on Elkins and got a return of 357.
All right, let's move on to the opening fight on the main card. We had Christoph Jocko and Gerald Mershar. Absolute domination from Christoph Jocko. 30-27 on all three judges' scorecard.
Yeah, Gerald Mershar, bad timing. Bad timing to come out and say, yeah, I'll take on these tomato cans like Sugar Sean O'Malley. And,
That's what he said?
He didn't say tomato cans, but he said, I'll keep taking these unranked matchups and grow and make my money before I start fighting top 15. And then he goes out there and gets dominated. So
completely dominated.
rough week for Gerald Mershar.
Hot take here. Sugar Sean wins that fight.
Against Gerald?
Yeah.
Against the middleweight? Yeah, who knows?
Gerald just has to land one leg kick and Sugar automatically wins, so it is what it is.
Yes, it is what
It is what it is.
Yeah, Jocko looked great. He looked great
he
on the
did.
feet. At no point was any danger there on the ground with Mershar. He was just completely dominant, and there's really not much more to say there.
Nope. I put 200 on Mershar and lost that.
Yeah, and I put 500 on Jocko. I had a feeling he was going to go in and get the victory, so that gave me a return of 294. He was the big favor there.
And neither one of us hit our parlay this week. My parlay was Elkins, Philly, Font, and Arlovski. I went 2 for 2 on that. That's pretty bad. Lost 750 church coin. Tabor's parlay was Burrito, Jotko. And, dude, had you had hit this parlay, it would have been huge because Burrito was a plus 240 dog. Would have been phenomenal, but Font did lose that. So Tabor lost 1,000 church coin there.
Yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on to MMA news. Before we get into MMA news, I got a quick shout out to the chats. Joseph said it's time for Arlovski to fight someone in the top 15, 43 years young, 6 wins out of his last 7. Yeah, why not?
Super impressive.
Why not? So Ant W also said Burrito versus the younger Burns. That's a great fight as well.
Yeah, it is.
I'm totally down with that. And Joseph once again said, should Andre Fili leave Team Alpha Male? I don't think he's the type of guy that will. I like Team Alpha Male a lot. It's one of those camps. A lot of people have complained about Team Alpha Male because they go so hard in training that, like, especially when they're sparring, like dudes are getting knocked out left and right, apparently. So is that a factor in Andre Fili? I don't know. He just got dropped, man. He got caught by a huge overhand right, and it is what it is there.
Yeah, I just don't think for the longevity, and who am I? I'm a fat schmuck, but, I just don't think for the longevity of someone's career, I don't think it's a good idea to get knocked out 5 or 6 times a year in sparring. And I'm not saying that's what happens, but if that is the case where they go super hard every day sparring or even every week, I just don't think that's healthy for a fighter to have a long career. You know, there are other ways to train where you're not knocking out your
partners.
Your partners, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Maybe they've changed. I don't know.
Yeah, could possibly. But let's get into some MMA news here. So, the first thing we're going to talk about today is we've been talking a lot about the heavyweight division as of late.
Yes, we have.
So, we got a couple heavyweight main events that have been announced. The first one is set for September, the main event of the evening, Tai Tuivasa versus Cyril Gane.
Again, guys, I swear, like, you can get the news before these fights release. You just come to the Church of MMA and we break it down for you. This is exactly what we said would happen. You would do Gane versus Tai. You would do Jones versus Stipe. Francis is sitting out. I mean, everything is coming to fruition of exactly what we said. And we even said Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, and look at that. And I know that's news we'll talk about. But this heavyweight division really is shaping up. I am so excited for this fight. Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa in September. You know this is going to be a banger.
It's for UFC Paris as well. So It will be the first fight they've had. I think Paris just legalized MMA like not too long ago. So I think this is the first time the UFC's ever been there.
Yeah, which I'm very excited for. I mean, it's the UFC constantly breaking ground and going to these new countries, new places. I absolutely love it. I think it's dope.
It's absolutely fantastic.
What do you
matchup though? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. What are you guys' first thoughts on the fight, the Tuivasa and Gane? Because people are already saying like R.I.P. Tuivasa, F's in the chat. And
I think that's just beyond disrespectful after what Tai Tuivasa has been able to do as of late. I mean, this guy's like what? He's still like 27, 28 years old, and he's a top 3 heavyweight in the world. Do I think Cyril Gane is more technical of a striker? Absolutely. I think you would be an idiot to say otherwise. However, Tai Tuivasa has literally knocked out the best of the best in this heavyweight division, and it only takes one. And yeah, maybe he doesn't have the physique of Francis Ngannou, but he's got the power, okay? I'm not saying as much power or more power than Ngannou, but he's obviously got the power to knock out brilliant knockout artists like freaking Derek Lewis. You know, like this guy can crack. If it's 5 rounds, and it's a technical matchup, I think Cyril Gane will probably win it. But it only takes one shot from Tai Tuivasa, and anyone who says otherwise is just not thinking. This is the heavyweight division, man. Like, this is the heavyweight division. It only takes one.
Yeah, but we are saying that so much about Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane, and we saw what happened there, man. Like, Cyril Gane is the most technical striker we have ever seen in heavyweight, period. He moves like a fucking strawweight, dude. It's insane. His footwork is phenomenal. His hands are phenomenal. His kicks are phenomenal. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. He just got outstrength by Ngannou there in that title fight. He got completely outclassed on the ground because Francis is just that freak of nature, man. Yeah. He's got so much strength that he can manhandle some of the best and most technical fighters we've ever seen. And that's Cyril Gane, man. Like we said before coming into that fight, like if you were in a build-a-fighter workshop and you had to build someone to take out Francis, it would have been a Cyril Gane. Yeah. And then we saw the strength advantage of Francis. He completely outclassed Gane there on the ground. I think Ty's best chance of victory in this fight is he has to make it a brawl, which is what he does. He's a brawler. He wants to get in dirty fist fights. He wants to fucking swing. He wants to swing for the fences. But Cyril Gane is not that guy. Well,
and you make a great point about Derek Lewis and what we saw Cyril Gane do. But here's my caveat to that. And this is something that Ty has to do a little bit differently. And I do agree. The problem with Derek Lewis is he did not make it a brawl. He did not make that fight a brawl.
He tried to. He couldn't even land anything. He couldn't even get close.
But that's the thing. Like, Ty's got to make it real dirty. He's got to get up in the clinch. He cannot give time and separation to Cyril Gane because he will piece him apart for 5 rounds, man. Yeah, I mean, Ty has got to do what he did with Derek Lewis and press it. Constantly press. Okay, you miss a punch. It doesn't matter. Keep going in. Keep going in. Keep throwing shots. Like, Ty's got to go in there and he's got to try to knock Cyril Gane out in the first or second round. I totally agree with you. Like, he's got to make it a brawl. He cannot sit back and wait because Cyril Gane will absolutely piece him apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the leg kicks alone by Cyril Gane are incredible. The body kicks, the spinning attacks. It's just he has so many different weapons, and he can fight from distance so well. He uses his length. He uses his jab. He doesn't even have to use his hands half the time. He's just so good with the fucking kicks and keeping his distance that way. It's going to be extremely difficult for Tai Tuivasa to get inside the pocket here. Yeah. It's a rough matchup for Tai. Am I saying he has zero chance in this fight? No. Obviously, it's a fight, and it's a heavyweight division. It does only take one, but can he land it? We saw what Derek Lewis did. He couldn't even get close. I agree with you. I think Ty needs to clinch. Yeah. He needs to clinch, and he needs to maybe get a takedown.
Mm-hmm. Going off of Aunt W's comment of what we heard on social media as well, that Stipe wasn't ready for International Fight Week.
Right.
How do you guys feel about that? Because it's been over a year.
Yes.
I
think Stipe's just been chilling on the couch.
You think he's just not in
fighting
shape?
I think he's training. I just don't think he's fight ready. You know.
And you know what? Like,
because I don't want to sound like I'm hating on Stipe. I get it. You get knocked out by Francis Ngannou, you need to take some time off.
Yeah.
But it's been over a year, and you're not going to be ready by July.
So
does that seem like a little much to you guys, or what is your take on it?
Let me explain the mind behind Stipe, because in most situations I would agree with that. However, we have to look at the implications for Stipe Miocic. Okay, still consensually the greatest heavyweight of all time. He has a very unique opportunity with Jon Jones being maybe the GOAT of mixed martial arts in its entirety. This fight was just kind of been put together for about a month or two. They were discussing it, and they were aiming for International Fight Week in July. But I completely respect Stipe Miocic for being like, you know what? This fight has so many implications for my future, my legacy, my family. I need ample time to train for one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, making his heavyweight debut in the UFC. So for me, I'm actually okay with this fight being pushed back, because I want to see, a lot like how Jon Jones said. He said he wanted to see the best Stipe Miocic possible. I want to see the best Stipe. And if Stipe feels at this point in his career, being consensually the greatest heavyweight of all time, he has earned the respect for me to say, you know what? If he's not ready by July, I'm just as excited for it in September. Now, does every fighter get away with that? No, and I do agree with you, but he's got a very unique opportunity where he's taking on Jon Jones, so I'm actually okay with it. Like, I really wanted to see that fight, International Fight Week, though. That fight would have been freaking huge. It would have been awesome, but I do want to see the best Stipe, so September, it is what it is. I'm fine with it.
Now, what exactly do you think is the best Stipe? Like, what does he have to work on for that fight? Because I'm just curious, what is the extra 2 months? What is he going to be working on?
Striking. Because I don't think he has an advantage on the ground. As good as wrestling as he is, I think Jon Jones dominates on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is too good. His wrestling is too good. But the striking, I think he just needs to find a way to get inside with Jon Jones, because Jon Jones can use that length. He can use those kicks. He's kind of like got a style like Cyril. Like, he's just got such great kicks, and he can fight from distance so well. So really, you know, maybe even clinch work. Maybe Stipe's got to work on that clinch work as well. And I agree with everything Mason just said. I thought that was a fantastic take there. But I'm going to play a little devil's avocado here. Stipe was saying he was ready, like, 6 months ago? He wanted to fight Jon Jones 6 months ago. He was saying he's ready. What happened in between that time? Was he just like, okay, if this fight's not happening, I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to take training as serious. Maybe he's a little heavy. Maybe he's just focused on his family and friends right now. It's interesting. I was hoping this fight was going to be for International Fight Week, because we all knew that's what they were shooting for.
I was thinking injury maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe possibly an injury that he doesn't want to disclose. That's always could potentially be the case. However, I'm actually taking the side of Stipe here, because that fight he was trying to get that fight made for so many months, and it never came to fruition. You never know with Jon Jones whether or not he's going to take a fight. He dances around it a lot.
Get in trouble more.
Yeah, he's a massive star. So I think like Stipe at one point was like, okay, obviously this fight's not going to happen. At this point it was March, April. He's like, this fight's probably not going to happen International Fight Week, so I'm going to take it a little easier in training. I'm obviously getting older. And maybe now that they're like, yeah, let's do it, he was like, okay, well, now I'm not ready. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I really am.
Yeah, shout out to the UFC for making great fucking matchups. Hopefully that Stipe versus Jon happens in, they're saying September. And then also in September, like we just said, we have Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. The heavyweight division is churning, and I cannot fucking wait for the future of this heavyweight division. Real quick before we move on to other MMA news, and W said Gane is going to toy with Ty just like he did Derek. Just, a lot of people think that. Joseph said the only problem with Miocic is he lost weight and he was skinny against DC and Ngannou. I don't know. He actually looked fantastic in that last DC fight. Ngannou, yeah, maybe he should have kept a little more weight on. Maybe he needs to bulk up a little more, especially if that trilogy does happen, because he was completely outstrength there. But he didn't even have to get taken down.
I definitely want to see a big Stipe against Jon Jones, because Jon Jones is looking thick. And I'm telling you right now, Jon has natural, athletic, freakish strength, capability. That's why he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
And I think Stipe has got to have that muscle on, and maybe that's why he needed additional time. Maybe he's trying to put on even more weight. Torn Brown, he says, what's up, gang? What's up, Torn? He says, did you guys watch the UFC 274 countdown? Tony Ferguson seems really motivated and hungry again. He said he's returning back to his wrestling roots for his fight with Chandler. We will talk about that in the preview show. I definitely have my take on that fight, and then Tabor has a little bit different one, so that should be really interesting.
Yeah, stay tuned for that, Tehran. We will get to that. A&W once again said, Richard Schaefer said John was willing to fight someone else, but UFC really wanted Stipe fight. Yeah, it's the only fight to make right now if it's not Francis. So it is what it is. Let's move on to other MMA news, more heavyweight news here. We have a UFC London return in July, late July. And the main event as of right now is Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades, another matchup we were calling for after that Curtis Blades fight.
Yes. Again, guys, you can hear the matchups months before they're made here on the Church of MMA podcast. I absolutely love this matchup. It makes complete and utter sense with how good Tom Aspinall has looked. Curtis Blades is on a run as well. This makes sense. One of these guys, whoever wins this fight, is probably getting a number one contender. I mean, yeah, the heavyweight division's stacked and all this and that, and it might be a year or two, but I'm very interested. I'm very interested in this fight because Tom Aspinall's jiu-jitsu, man.
It's fantastic.
His last fight was a submission win in the first round, but then you have the absolute dominance of Curtis Blades wrestling, which we didn't even see on display in his last fight, which is brilliant.
Striking is getting even better, and you can't even
getting better and better.
And Tom Aspinall striking as well. It doesn't matter where this fight goes, guys. It's going to be fantastic. Whether it goes down to the ground and we get a 5-round jiu-jitsu match, or they stand and bang. Either man can win the fight. It's a fantastic matchup, and it's one we were calling for. So I'm very excited for that main event. Gun to my head, who am I taking in that fight?
Oh, that's so hard.
It's hard, but I'm loving some Tom Aspinall, baby.
Really?
I'm on the hype train right now with Aspinall.
Wait a second here, Tabor. I don't know if you knew this, but you are going to Galaxy's Edge, so I think you should say lightsaber or blaster to the head.
Okay, lightsaber to the head. Lightsaber to the throat, guys. I'm taking probably Tom Aspinall in that fight. Like, I love his jiu-jitsu. If he can attack from bottom, if Curtis Blades gets on top, that's how good his guard is. Will Curtis Blades even take him down? He's got fantastic takedown defense as well. Can Tom Aspinall win on the feet? Yes, he can win on the feet as well, but it's heavyweight division. It only takes one. Curtis Blades' hands are looking fantastic. His wrestling is always there in his back pocket. I don't know. I'm just super excited.
I know. I'm excited to break that down in July. That's going to be a really, really good matchup. So hats off to the UFC making these matchups happen. Thanks for getting the advice here on the Church and then making the fights.
Absolutely.
Tremendous.
And we have a great co-main event that's been set for that card as well. We have Darren Till versus Jack Manson. They tried making this fight, last year? And then Till had to drop out. And then Marvin Vettori moved in short notice, beat the living shit out of Jack Manson. And then they tried making Till versus Vettori. Till dropped out of that fight as well. And then Vettori beat the living shit out of Kevin Holland. And then Vettori went to go get his ass kicked for 5 straight rounds on Israel Adesanya.
Well, he won that fight. But.
Yeah, he did. Well,
yeah,
in his
mind,
mind,
he thinks he won.
He thinks he won. But, Till versus Hermanson is a matchup I've been calling for. This is a great fight. I think it's a great fight for both men. It's a winnable fight for both men. Can Darren Till avoid the takedowns of Jack Hermanson? Because we all know that's what Jack Hermanson wants to do. He wants to implement that jiu-jitsu. He wants to get a sub, and he wants to get out of there early. Can Darren Till keep it on the feet?
Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. And this is the fight that both guys really need to win. I would say Till probably needs to win this fight more than Jack Hermanson.
Yes, I would agree with that 100%.
At this point. But, I'm very interested to see, though. I mean, this is the matchup that we all want to see. Why? Because Darren Till is training with who? Hamzat Chimaev. They become best friends. They should make a bromance comedy film together.
They're doing NFTs together.
Yeah, they're doing NFTs. They're doing all this silly shit together, which I absolutely love. They're a great combo and a great duo. But Hermanson, obviously, with the ground game and the jiu-jitsu and the submissions, this is exactly the matchup that I wanted to see for Darren Till. Let's see how much he's working. Let's see if his cardio is improving. Let's see if his ground game's getting better and his defense. This is a really good co-main, and it's obviously perfect because it's going to be in London again. So very much looking forward to breaking this down, too.
Yeah, London's looking absolutely fantastic. Very excited for that. Let's get to the chats real quick. Curtis really needs an early takedown in this fight. Aspinall's hands are lightning for heavyweight. Very true. He's got fantastic hands. Joseph Blotti said, should Aspinall be the underdog? Blades has never been an underdog in the UFC.
Yeah, I would say if I were running this, I would probably go Curtis.
That's a pick 'em fight, in my opinion.
I would probably go Curtis Blades about a 135 to a Tom Aspinall plus 115, 120. That's where I would. If I was Vegas in the line, that's how I'd have it. But I'd have Curtis a slight favorite in that.
Yeah, Joseph's also asking, do you see Chimaev in the corner of Till?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
why not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Till was in Chimaev's corner.
Yeah.
I see him in his bed. Yeah.
Hey, is that the OnlyFans?
Disrespect.
Yeah, they actually have one.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Can we subscribe for research purposes?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. It's a tax write-off, technically.
Absolutely. Let's move on to other MMA news. So Macy Barber just fought last weekend, and she looked absolutely fantastic. And Jessica I had a fight fall out with, I forget who her original opponent was off the top of my head, but her opponent fell out of UFC 276. So now Macy Barber is stepping in on short notice versus Jessica I. Another matchup that we were calling for, Mason.
Yeah. Yeah. I had talked about it, and I'll just recap it real quick. I really wanted to see that Macy Barber against Montana De La Rosa, and that's exactly who we saw. We saw that Macy Barber of old, the one who's not scared to engage, the one putting together great combinations, really good grappling and clinch work and everything. I'm excited for this fight. I think this is a great opportunity for Macy Barber to really solidify herself in this top 15 again after a very impressive win against Montana De La Rosa, but she was not ranked at that time. But now taking on Jessica I. Jessica I's where in this division? I want to say top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Jessica I was supposed to fight Casey O'Neill.
Casey O'Neill, yes.
That's who
she blew out her ACL, which sucks, man, because Casey O'Neill's a great fighter. And I wish her the best. I wish for a speedy recovery for her. I'm very, when she recovers, I'm excited to see her back at it. But Jessica I is 12 now. But again, if Macy Barber can get 2 back-to-back wins like this in short notice, it's going to be really good for her career. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. I'm very excited as well. Let's move on to our last little bit of MMA news for our preview show. So more news has developed in the Jorge Masvidal-Colby Covington situation. Now a judge has just ordered that Masvidal stay at least 25 feet away from Covington at all times.
Yeah, probably a smart move. Probably a smart move after the incident that occurred in Miami. So, I don't really have much to say on it. It is what it is. They obviously don't like each other, but hopefully this will kind of just squash anything that has happened.
Well, apparently, Masvidal's saying not guilty, so I think this is going to end up playing out in court, unfortunately.
I just don't know how you can make a case of not guilty when it's so
camera.
obvious that you snuck up on him and punched him. Like, no, that wasn't me.
That was
George Masvidal, which is a close relative of mine. I can't seem to find him anywhere, but my name is Jorge.
He's not going to snitch on his relative. You know who it was.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Hopefully, no one gets in trouble there. I don't.
It was
want
Morhe Josvidal.
Morhe.
Yeah, exactly. Who was that guy?
Never heard of him.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Just looks a lot like.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Let's go on our preview show, Mason. So as always, guys, fight companion this weekend for UFC 274, the highly anticipated lightweight matchup against Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje, with the highly anticipated strawweight co-main event of Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. Very excited for this card. Have I mentioned I'm going to be in Galaxy's Edge during this card?
I think you have. But the fight companion this weekend is going to be a lot of fun. Cash Krause from the Have You Seen a Podcast. We got Morgan coming back on. Morgan's always hilarious. We love Morgan. Jimmy's going to be on this weekend as well. You can guarantee we're probably going to talk about books a little bit because we do love our books. Right, Devin? You're going to be talking about Mistborn a little bit with us?
Yeah, we love books. We should start like a book podcast or something.
Yeah, hey,
books
maybe that's in development in the Pound for Pound media very, very soon.
Yeah, should we call it Knight's Book Club?
Knight's Book Club? Yeah, we might rebrand it. We might just do a whole slew of books. But and then quite possibly the Prodigal Son may return this weekend for a fight companion, Gideon to Mars. He's supposed to text me today whether or not he can make it. But it should be a great table if we can get everyone together.
Yeah,
so.
it'd be a lot of fun. Hopefully I could find some wait time while I'm waiting in line or something just to call into the show or watch the fights on my phone.
Waiting in line where?
Oh, if I mentioned I'm going to Galaxy's Edge to build a lightsaber to droid.
Oh, you are? No way.
Yeah, I know.
You should talk about that.
Torrin, we are doing a live fight companion for 274. Yes, sir. 7 p.m. start time. We're going to have a great table. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into this main event for UFC 274. Charles Oliveira, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, against Justin Gaethje.
Charles is coming in at minus 165.
Yeah, minus 165 to a plus 140 for Justin Gaethje. Tabor, What are your thoughts on this matchup, and who do you like and why?
I love this matchup. To be honest with you, I'm having a hard time with my pick here because both these men are fantastic. Before I even get into church coin picks or anything, like who I think is going to win the fight, let's just break it down a little bit because Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is fantastic. We all know that. He's got the most submissions in the UFC, period. He's had knockout victories as of late. He looked fantastic in the second round versus Poirier. He was getting cracked by Poirier. Can his chin hold up to Justin Gaethje's power, though? We all know Justin Gaethje has that one touch of death. But it wasn't there in that Michael Chandler fight when Oliveira did knock out Chandler in the second round.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's very interesting, this matchup. I do like Justin Gaethje a lot in this fight, but you cannot deny the absolute dominance that we have seen on display from Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Not only on the ground, but on the feet as well. Oliveira has developed so much. Like, where does this fight go is really the biggest question. If this goes down to the ground, obviously Oliveira is probably going to get the victory. Maybe by sub. I think sub would be a great prop pick for this fight for Charles. But then you can't ever count out Justin Gaethje and his power. Charles gets cracked in every single one of his fights.
I think it all comes down to, sorry to cut you off, Mason.
Oh, no worries.
If it goes out of the first round, I think you would edge the fight towards Charles because I think we've seen that his cardio is a little bit better than Gaethje's in the later rounds. If Gaethje paces himself, then I would say it's a pretty even fight. But I feel like Gaethje's going to go for it all out in the first round, blitz him, try to get the knockout, just get the belt as quick as possible.
Is it going to be a war? Do you think it could be a war?
Look, do we want a war?
Yes.
Yes. Are we going to get a war? I don't think so. I think it's either going to be a chess match, and whoever onto the ground, obviously we're going to edge it towards Charles. But like you said, we can't count out that Justin Gaethje power. It's undeniable.
Yeah. I think where I'm at on this fight, I think the way Justin, and I do agree with you overall. Yeah. Like, I think if Justin is going to win this fight, he's got to catch Charles early with a massive shot that's going to put his lights out. However, I think if Charles can get this fight to the ground, I think he will definitely submit Justin Gaethje. Now, I'm not underestimating Justin Gaethje, okay? I obviously know the elite wrestler that he is. He's phenomenal on the ground, okay? But Charles is a different beast. I mean, he has fought the best of the best. At one point in Tony Ferguson's career, they wanted to do the Khabib versus Tony Ferguson because, the jiu-jitsu, the defensive jiu-jitsu against Khabib, the dominant wrestler. And what did Charles Oliveira do to Tony Ferguson? Absolutely dismantled him and crushed him for 5 rounds on the ground.
3.
Okay. Or 3 rounds on the ground. Yeah, you're right. That wasn't a 5-round. But nonetheless, absolutely dominated him for that 3-round fight. And then he takes on a guy like Michael Chandler, suffers through adversity, gets caught early, but then finishes the fight in the second round. You know, it's all these guys. And then Dustin Poirier as well. Submits Poirier, which is a phenomenal thing to do. Khabib Nurmagomedov did it as well. I mean, Charles is just legit through and through. Justin Gaethje, though, you cannot underestimate this man's heart and how many wars he's been through and his determination to keep moving forward despite everything else. And that's what's really interesting here. I think the way Charles wins this fight is submission. Mm-hmm. I don't see him finishing Justin Gaethje. He's just too tough. It's really hard to finish Justin Gaethje. I think the only guy to ever do that in the UFC was Eddie Alvarez.
And Poirier.
Right?
Here's what
Poirier as well. Yeah,
if I was a betting man, here's what I would do. Just to make it fun and interesting, because obviously if it goes to the ground, you're edging it towards Charles, Absolutely. And if it's KO, you go Gaethje, right. So here's what you do. You do Charles by KO, all right, and you do Gaethje by submission.
I think you're a bad better. I think that's a terrible option. I think you switch those two, and you're doing pretty good there. But no, dude, I agree with Ant W's take here. Charles needs one takedown with at least a minute to work to win this fight. And I think that's basically where it comes down to. I like the line here. I do think you got to give respect to the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Charles Oliveira, at a -165 to a +140, Justin Gaethje. Here are my church coin bets for this. I like Charles Oliveira here. I think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to retain the belt. And, I love Justin Gaethje. If Gaethje wins the belt, I'll be super happy for him. And, of course, he's on the same card as his his teammate and friend Rose Namajunas fighting in the co-main event. It would be really cool to see another Whitman parlay.
And they win every time.
They
yeah,
do.
We get
They
the
win
Whitman
together.
parlay going. It happens.
It sucks because you just don't want to see Charles lose because he's a good guy.
know.
But
And
you
then-
want the Whitman crew to win.
Yeah, and if Charles loses, that destroys the Islam Makhachev Charles Oliveira fight, which is essentially
know.
Tony Habib versus
2.0.
Light. Yeah, it's like Tony Habib Light. I hate to say that because it's not Light. That's disrespectful, but you know what I mean. Like it's the same matchup. So I don't know, man. This is a tough fucking fight for me to pick. I like Ant W's take right here. Charles has a nice chin, but he's gotten cracked bad in his last 2 fights. It might just catch up with him this weekend. If there's someone you don't want to get cracked by, it's one Dustin Poirier. He did survive that, so that's always on his side.
And Chandler,
multiple
too.
times. And Chandler as well.
Chandler's
He
got
got
a
cracked too. He's got a
fuck ton
lot
of
of
power.
power. He's got one punch
Yeah.
knockout of death. But
The energy he generates in those punches is wild.
But
He
does
puts
either of those
everything
men
behind
have the power that Justin Gaethje does? Because remember, before Justin Gaethje ran into Habib Nurmagomedov, he was one touch of deathing dudes in the first round.
You don't think
And it's-
Chandler has more power than Gaethje?
No, I think Gaethje.
No, see, I
don't know.
I
It's
disagree
maybe
with that.
the accuracy.
I think Chandler's got more power, but here's the thing about Justin Gaethje is it's not just he does have good power, but it's the combinations, it's the brutality of him,
Relentlessness.
marching forward and constantly landing those shots where it just wears someone down, and that's the Justin Gaethje that's so dangerous because Gaethje can put you out. He typically doesn't put someone out in one shot. It's that mixture of working them for
Think
minutes
about it,
after
though.
minutes.
He did that in those few fights leading up to the Habib Nurmagomedov fight. You cannot forget the Edson Barboza one touch fucking of death. That war it was for that lasted like 30 seconds or whatever. And then the Cowboy fight.
But that's
it's Cowboy though. But
right, but that's what I'm saying though is he can put you out with one shot, but it's not just one shot to start the first round.
Yeah.
It's that wear and tear on your body for 10, 15 minutes of just peppering you with medium to heavy shots. But it's just like, for me, I got to go Charles Oliveira here. I think he's going to retain his belt. I'm putting 2,500 in one church coin because that's all that I had. I'm going to put 2,500 in one church coin on Charles Oliveira. And then my prop for this is a 200 church coin bet on a Charles Oliveira submission. I think that's the way he gets it done. So that's my bet for the church coins.
Mason, you're sitting in about a 4,000 church coin lead right now. And I still have to pay back 5,000.
Yeah, so really about a 9,000 church coin lead.
Like I need something big.
Yep.
As much as I want to take Charles, as much as I think he's going to win this fight, I'm going to put money on Justin Gaethje. I just like the line too much. He's a plus 140. I'm going to throw 500 church coin on Justin Gaethje, and my prop bet is going to be Justin Gaethje by KO. I think he could do it. We know Charles gets cracked. Can he handle the power and the accuracy of Justin Gaethje? This Justin Gaethje 2.0, we all know he used to just go get in the wars, but ever since he's been 2.0, Trevor Whitman just added a few little nuggets to his game, and it's just evolved so much. I think Justin Gaethje can do it. I'm betting on that. I'm going to do 500 on Gaethje and 250 on the KO for Gaethje. I just can't wait for this fight, dude. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic main event. Yeah. I love me some lightweight championships.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. Let's move on to the co-main event of the evening for the undisputed strawweight championship of the world. Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. Rose Namajunas coming in at a minus 200 favorite to a plus 170 in Carla Esparza. Tabor, how do you see this one shaking out?
I think Rose Namajunas is going to dominate. As much as I love this rematch, because we have to remember this was the very first title fight in the strawweight division. It was Carla Esparza, Rose Namajunas. Carla Esparza got the sub. She dominated Rose on the ground, but Rose has evolved her game so much since we've seen that, and her striking is just so elite. I don't see Carla Esparza winning on the feet, period. Now, can Carla Esparza get on top of Rose Namajunas and implement that wrestling? Can she have that crushing pressure? We even saw Zhang Wei Li get on top of Rose multiple times in that last fight. So that is obviously her route to victory there, is to take Rose down and dominate on the ground. But can that happen? Can Rose stay on the feet and implement those strikes, implement those kicks, implement that footwork, which we all know? I think Rose's footwork is some of the best in UFC, period.
Yeah.
She is so difficult to touch.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect a war. I'm expecting domination. I think it's going to be 50-45 Rose Namajunas.
Jesus Christ.
It is what it is, dude. I think it's 50-45 Rose. I just think she's the best. And she proved that in the last two Zhang fights. She proved it in the last two Joanna fights.
Yeah.
So I just think she's the best in the world right now, and I don't think anyone can compete with her.
Dude, I do not disagree with that at all, and I mean no disrespect to Carla Esparza. I think she absolutely deserves this title fight. She's definitely done enough. However, I think Rose Namajunas is the best in the world in this strawweight division, unquestionably, and I think she'll go out there and show that. I think the odds, guys, if you're a betting man or woman, I would say this is actually really good value for your money. Just a minus 200, you put $100, you win 50. Because Rose has got a really good shot. If I was Vegas odds, I would have this maybe at a minus 285, minus 300 to plus 220, 240, whatever. But like, I'm just... The line here is actually really small compared to what I thought it would be. And yes, Carla Esparza did win, but keep in mind, guys, that was in the tough finale back in 2014. Fighters evolve a lot. We're in 2022. This is 8 years later. Rose has developed her game so much over the course of that time. She's been in a much better mental headspace. She's saying that I am the champ. She wants to be the champ. And I think on a Saturday night, she's going to retain that belt, that strawweight belt, unquestionably. So for me, this is an easy bet. I'm putting 5,000 church coin on Rose Namajunas to retain her strawweight belt.
I'm putting 500 church coin on Rose Namajunas to retain her belt at a minus 122, plus 170 Carla Esparza. I just don't see Carla doing it. If she can get a takedown, yeah, she might win a few rounds there, but I just don't see it happening. I think Rose is going to dominate, man. It is what it is there. I love the Trevor Whitman coaching style. I love her in general. Her fighting style is fantastic. It's extremely entertaining, and I think this is going to be an easy victory for her.
Yeah. Ann W says, I don't know why, but I'm sensing a Carla upset. That would be very interesting. You know what, guys? We have been wrong before on this podcast.
Yeah, many times.
My apologies again to Juliana Pena. I am so sorry. Please do not kill me if you ever see me. You are the undisputed bantamweight champion of the world. We love you, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys are kind of treating Carla like you did Pena. And
I just don't see it, dude.
I just don't see it.
50-45.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I think so.
You can't even say no disrespect. That's a lot of disrespect.
It's not even meant
No, disrespect is being like, she doesn't deserve to be there. This is a wash. Like, to hell with her. She shouldn't even have this. She deserves this fight. And can she get it done? Absolutely. It's a fight. Anything can happen in the cage. That's why, like, I'm not throwing shade on her. Just from what I've seen with Rose Namajunas, I really do believe she is undisputedly the best strawweight.
And you're right. I agree 100%. I was just 50-45.
It is what it is.
Much.
Yeah, it's just a prediction. You know,
it is what
people
it is.
could be wrong.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next matchup.
Did something?
People die.
Yeah, let's move on to our next matchup. We have Tony Ferguson coming in at a plus 320 to a minus 410 Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I cannot fucking wait for this
Do you guys
fight,
agree with these lines?
For this fight, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. Just wait till I say my pick, though. So let's just break the fight down before we even talk about picks. Tony Ferguson is on a 3-fight skid now. Yeah. He lost to Justin Gaethje, then he lost to Charles Oliveira, then he lost to Beneil Dariush, got completely dominated.
Man.
Yeah.
All killers, you're right.
Killers.
No disrespect, but killers.
And a lot of people think that, Tony was forever changed by that Justin Gaethje fight.
I would say so. It looked like he lost about half his brain at least.
Yeah, that was a really tough fight to watch.
I had to look away.
Yeah,
it was rough. And then to go completely outclass on the ground. He didn't take the most damage in that Charles Oliveira fight, but he did get completely outclassed. Like 10-8 in a couple of those, I would say. And then, you have the Beneil Dariush. Once again, got taken down and dominated on the ground. Do we see Michael Chandler shoot for takedowns against Tony Ferguson, or does Michael Chandler going to take the Justin Gaethje approach and just make it a brawl and make it a fight?
I think he makes it a brawl.
I think he tries to brawl, and I think if anything, if Tony gets hurt, he's going to try to go for those takedowns. It makes sense, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. I think Tony could definitely submit him here. But I like the line here. I think it's a little wide, just because, I would bet on Chandler if he wasn't on minus 410. But I just... Dude, Chandler generates so much power. And Tony has been through so many wars. He's 38 years old now. I know Chandler's 36 or 37, but it's just Chandler has not been through the wars that Tony Ferguson has been in as of late. I love Tony Ferguson. El Kukui is one of my favorite fighters. And it really pains me to say this, but I don't think this is going to be good for Tony. I think Michael Chandler will knock him out. And I hate to say that. I feel bad.
Do you wish they would have given Tony a kind of tune-up fight?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, honestly, because I want to see if Tony's heart. I know his heart's still in it. I mean, god damn, after that Justin Gaethje to still stand there and have the ref call it.
Should I? I don't.
Heart's in it,
I don't know what his contract is like. Do you think they're just trying to? Maybe this is his last fight on his contract, and they're just trying to get him out. You think is that
maybe because you know what? I don't know if this is the clause, but he was an interim champ, and I wonder if he gets championship money no matter what. Not championship money as if he's fighting in the champ, but the champions get a step above in the pay. So I do wonder if that's a part of his contract.
Look, the fight makes sense for Chandler because he's on a 2-fight skid.
Yeah, and Tony's on a 3.
And it makes sense stat wise, but for Tony himself, this fight makes no sense.
Well,
he just
apparently
said
they
yes.
tried making Tony with other guys, and he said, no, I want a top guy.
Right.
So he just kept on saying no to other dudes.
It hurts to see.
Yeah. Sorry if you guys can hear that. The dogs are freaking out down there. I think
Yes,
someone
they
just
are.
came
Yeah,
in.
we're going to put him down later.
I don't know who was coming in, but someone.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Shout out to NW. Chandler could easily control Tony for 3 rounds, but if it comes out and gets sloppy, Tony could catch him with a clean uppercut at the end of the fight. And Teron Brown said, I think we see vintage Tony Ferguson at UFC 274. And Teron also came in and said they should have given Michael Chandler Gregor Gillespie. That's a great matchup as well, but I get it. Both these men only want to fight the best of the best. They want to stay in title contention, so that's why they made this matchup. Yeah. Tony Ferguson gets the victory, title contention, top 5 matchup. Michael Chandler gets his victory, title contention, top 5 matchup.
Seriously? You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so for Ferguson. I think you can make more of a case
What is
for
Michael Chandler right now? Where is he ranked? Let's pull this up real quick.
Chandler is 5.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He wins. That's a top 5 matchup. Tony Ferguson wins. He's gonna get like a Dustin Poirier or something like that. Let's be real.
Do you see him beating anyone in the top 5 right now?
No.
Tony? We're gonna find out. He's got Michael Chandler. We're gonna find out.
Above Chandler.
I don't. I don't.
No,
think
not really. But we're gonna. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I definitely don't see Tony winning this fight.
He's got no RDA, Chandler, Dariush, Makhachev, Gaethje. It's kind of. It's a lot.
Let's get into church coin picks because I already know you guys are gonna clown me. Tony Ferguson at a plus 320. I need to make some money,
dude. We're not. It makes sense.
I need to make some money.
We're not gonna clown you.
I'm all in on Tony Ferguson.
It makes
all
sense.
in on Tony Ferguson. I need to make this money back. And I think he can do it.
He can.
If it goes down to the ground, he can get the submission. If it stays on the feet, Tony could catch Chandler clean. Chandler's chin, it did hold up in the Justin Gaethje fight, but it didn't in the Vera fight. I'm just super interested. I would love me to see Tony Ferguson get a victory and at least maybe try to make a run or at least keep fighting because I just love me some Tony Ferguson. He's one of my favorites, and I want to see him break the skid, and I think he could do it against Michael Chandler. This is a winnable fight for both men. I think the line, it makes sense because Tony's on a 3-fight skid and got dominated.
Michael Chandler's 410?
I know, it's kind of crazy, but it makes sense, I think, just because of the way Tony got dominated. And then you have the Michael Chandler fight. That Oliveira fight was very, very highly contested. And then the Chandler fight, then Chandler kind of got, 3-0'd against Justin Gaethje, but it was still competitive in the sense that they were both landing. I don't know. Line-wise, I don't know. I don't really care about that. All I care about is I'm all in on Tony Ferguson. I'm going to be praying that he wins this matchup. One, I'm a huge Tony fan. I have to take him. It is what it is there. And plus 320, I'd be an idiot to let it go because I need to make cheddar if I have a chance of winning this Church Coin Championship belt. So I'm going all in on Tony Ferguson. I already added up what the Church Coin total of that would be after all my picks. That is 2,312 Church Coin on Tony Ferguson at a plus 320.
Yeah, you may see for the first time this year since we've been going back and forth month to month with the belt, you may see for the first time someone retain this belt this week. If Tony Ferguson does not get the job done, it will be a wrap. But I like the balls that you have on putting money on Tony Ferguson, and it does make sense for the position that you are in. But for me, however, I definitely like Michael Chandler here. I think he's just such a strong fighter. He has so much power in those hands. He is lightning fast. I mean, when you watch this guy throw strikes, you're like, did I miss something? Did I blink? Holy shit. And like Tony has been in so many wars. Again, we go back and forth. You guys know the deal. I think Chandler can beat him anywhere here. I think the only way Ferguson wins is maybe a lucky sub. If he can get, maybe Chandler's back or something like that.
Choke.
Or Darce choke or something like that. But outside of that, Michael Chandler all day here. Even at a minus 410, I got to go with Chandler. I'm putting up 410 Church Coin on Chandler for the win.
It's going to be a massive return there for you of 100.
Yeah, 100 Church Coin. Yeah,
Putting
my money elsewhere.
Yeah, you're really going out on a limb there in that pick.
Yes, sir.
Let's go on to the next fight. We have Mauricio Shogun Rua at a plus 200 versus OSP Oven St. Peru. I don't really have too much to say about this fight. It's just a couple savvy vets going at it. I think Rua is one of those guys that probably needs to retire.
Yeah.
He's just old.
Yeah,
he's old and he's lost a few fights. I mean, he's won a couple and he's been competitive in a few, but I mean, if OSP goes out there flatlines Rua that I'm going to be like, that guy's done. He needs to retire. He needs to walk away from the sport. This could be a competitive matchup though. It's OSP's return to light heavyweight since he had that heavyweight stint. And I'm kind of excited for it. I think OSP is going to show up. I am taking OSP in this fight. I'm going to put 100 church coin on him, a minimum bet. He has a minus 240. I know I'm not going to make a lot of money on this bet anyways, but I need to keep all that money I can on Tony in my parlay so I can get a victory.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Shogun. Throughout his career, man, he has been an awesome and fun fighter. But again, you know, at this level, there's a certain level, you know, his last fight, he lost to Paul Craig, he got submitted. And then he had 2 of those fights with Antonio Rodriguez Nogueira. And man, that third round, it was like hands down. They could like barely throw. And like OSP, like he's more of a fight at a distance kind of fighter over the course of 3 rounds. I honestly see OSP winning the fight here. You know, OSP hasn't been super impressive as of late, but I do see why he's a minus 240 here. I would throw OSP in a parlay with Rose, and I think you would probably do pretty good. If you want some underdog value, maybe throw Lazan in on a parlay like that. But yeah, I'm OSP here all day at a minus 240. I'm going to put 480 church coin on OSP for the win.
All right. Yes, 100 on OSP. So let's move on to the opening fight of the main card. We have Donald Cowboy Cerrone coming in at minus 182 plus 155. Joe Lozon, another savvy vet matchup. It's a great matchup for Cowboy. It really is. And Joe as well. It's a winnable fight for both men. I really enjoyed this matchup a lot. Who am I leaning in this fight? Probably Cowboy. I just think he has more weapons, and I think he's due a win, man. The man has been struggling as of late. Like, ever since the Conor fight, like, he hasn't won. So he hasn't won in a few years. I think it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. I think this is the matchup that Donald can finally snap the losing streak. But Joe could go in there and win the fight as well. This is a tightly contested matchup. I figured the line would be a pick'em. But, you know, they got Donald as a slight favorite here. So I'm actually going to take Cowboy in this fight. I'm going to put 100 church coin on Cowboy. I think he just has more weapons. His jiu-jitsu is great. So is Joe's. But on the feet especially, I think Donald could get it done.
Yeah, my only hesitancy for going with Joe Lozon here is he has not fought since 2019. He did have a first minute KO in that fight, which is pretty cool. But, you know, Donald Cowboy Cerrone has been much more active. However, I'm just going to go with Lozon here at a plus 155. I mean, I think the odds are pretty wide here, considering, and I think Lozon has got the power to knock out Cerrone, and unfortunately, Cerrone's chin has been tested as of late quite a bit. So I am going to go ahead and put 500 church coin on Lozon for the win here, 500 church coin on Joe Lozon.
All right, then we have the main event of the prelims. Randy Brown at a plus 115 to a minus 135. Chaos Williams. This is just violence all over the fucking octagon. I cannot wait for this fight.
I mean, I keep saying no disrespect, but it is what it is here. Like, I got to be honest. I think this fight should have opened up the main event, and then you do Cowboy and Joe as the main event prelim. Because this fight, guys, I am really excited for Randy Brown versus Chaos Williams. I mean, Randy Brown can put your lights out, but so can Chaos. And you know what? You are going to see some chaos in that octagon because I really believe these two are going to get in the center of the octagon and just throw hands. And it's anybody's fight. Yeah, it's really anybody's fight. I mean, if you're going to go with technical, I would say Randy Brown's a more technical striker.
And he's probably got more length, too.
Right, definitely more length, but if in leg kicks as well. Randy Brown throws some really great leg kicks. But if you want to go with a power, you're going to go with the power of Chaos Williams, too. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a really fun matchup, guys. And honestly, we might go a little early for the fight companion because I'd love to get our reactions for this prelim main event.
Absolutely. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Shout out to every single person that showed up. Oh, wait, I didn't even do picks.
Yeah, we didn't do our picks yet.
Or parlays.
Or parlays.
My bad. I'm going to throw 100 church coin on Chaos Williams. Once again, a minimum bet here. I need to save this cheddar for my Tony pick and my parlay here. So I think Chaos is going to get it done. I'm betting on the power. I think he's just going to land, and I think he's going to put Randy Brown's lights out.
Yeah, man. I got to be honest here. I keep going back and forth on this fight because Randy Brown's a great fighter, but I was really impressed with Chaos Williams when he got that Miguel Baeza fight. He was that who the fuck is that guy award for me just a year or two ago. I was really high on Miguel Baeza. But here's the thing. I'm going to go with Chaos here. I think he's got more power. I think he can get it done as long as he doesn't gas himself. So I'm going to put 250 church coin on Chaos Williams for the win.
All right, let's get into our parlays. My parlay this week, it's a little crazy, but I need it to be crazy. And if I hit it, it's a wrap. I'm fucking church coin champion. My parlay for this week is Gaethje, Rose, Tony Ferguson, and OSP and Cowboy Cerrone for 1,000 church coin. Obviously, the plus 320 of Tony Ferguson in there is going to be massive for this parlay. And I'm also taking the dog and Justin Gaethje to plus 140. If I hit this parlay, it's a wrap. I'm probably going to get like 20,000 church coin from it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, I got 3 favorites in my parlay and 1 dog. You could do this parlay a lot of different ways. I think if you want the safest parlay possible, I think Rose is a great option. You've got Chandler and OSP. I think those are for sure, cash that check if you want to do a 3-fight parlay. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and add 1 more to my parlay to make it a 4-fight parlay. I'm going to go Rose Namajunas, Michael Chandler, Joe Lazon, and OSP for 500 church coin. That is a 4-fight parlay. Lazon, I'm a little worried about. Hasn't fought in 3 years, but I do think he's got the capability to knock out Cerrone if given the opportunity. So that's my parlay this week.
Yeah. So shout out to everyone that showed up here in the chats. Ant W, Ymir Reviews, Teron Brown, Joseph Bellotti was there earlier. Thank you guys so much for showing up once again, week after week. And we're going to read a couple real quick. Ymir, which is Jimmy, says, OSP for sure. I will always go with anyone in a cowboy hat. He's talking about cowboy there. And W asks, does Cowboy finally ride off into the sunset Saturday night?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think he does.
I think win or lose, he's going
I think he's retired.
Yeah, I think he'll retire.
Yeah, and it's going to be sad.
I think
regardless.
he's not going to stop until they don't offer him a contract.
Yeah, but will they?
No.
Win or lose, are they going to offer him another contract? Probably not. And the last thing I want to see for Cowboy is going to BFCK or whatever, bare knuckle boxing.
You know he's gonna, man.
I do not want to see that for Cowboy.
Also, I don't know if I talked about this before, maybe weeks or months ago, but I wonder why they didn't schedule the. You could have done McGregor for Ferguson. That would have been a fine matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it would have made sense for Connor. Yeah, would have made sense for Connor. But I would have rather seen that one than Chandler. Yeah, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I don't like this matchup.
Yeah, Jimmy just came in and said the Cowboy will probably hang his hat. Yeah.
I hope
put the gloves
so.
down on the
No disrespect, but I hope so. I just don't want to see him get beat the fuck up.
I know, neither do I. I don't like it.
Yeah, win or lose. So thank you so much for showing up once again, guys. As always, we did do a Patreon exclusive podcast last night. Go check that out. $5 a month gives you a bunch of exclusive content. We got vlogs, Second Service audio only podcast, Second Service video podcast, call-in shows, and so much more. And if you want discounts on our Teespring merch, join the upper tiers. $10 a month gives you a 10% discount, and $20 a month gives you a 15% discount. All of that money goes right back into the show, and we're trying to upgrade as soon as possible. And we appreciate each and every single thing you guys have done. And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. And if you've done that already, do us a favor, man. Hit that share button and send it to any of your social media accounts, guys. That really helps the engagement. It helps us grow a lot, and we really do appreciate that. And if there's one more thing you guys can do, once this live stream ends and the comment section opens, go ahead and go down in the comments. Give us your picks on this UFC 274 card. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys want to bet alongside of us for fictional church coin, do that too. It'll be a lot of fun there. And if you don't even want to give your picks, just leave a comment. Hashtag for the algorithm, guys. Each and every comment helps us a lot in that YouTube algorithm. It pushes us out to more and more people so we can grow. We've gotten a lot of growth as of late in the last few weeks, so we'd love to keep that train a-rolling. Let's hit 2,000 subs, before the end of summer. I think that's really doable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So once again, thank you everybody for showing up. So if you haven't already, go follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and our Twitter. We're posting funny memes. We're trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up over there.
Yeah, thank you guys. Again, episode 118, UFC 274 preview show. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen. Devin Davis on the ones and twos. Thank you again. Until next time.
Fucking piece of shit.